Here's the greatest challenge that you face in your presentations, internally or externally. If you go in and you make a presentation, the person that you're speaking to is going to take action later on, based on whether they remember anything from your presentation or not. You have to be memorable. And if you give a presentation and you're not memorable, you're dead in the water. You need to look at your presentation in terms of what presentation have I got that I have to win. I have to have a story that just rocks. It has to nail it. I mean, it's just got to compel people to action. I have to get them to change their mind. I have to get them to change their perspective. I have to move them. Well, if you want to move them, then you need to be moving them with energy and passion and power and personality and an incredibly crafted story.
Story is not just something that people listen to. People see it. They feel it. They participate in it.
If you do a data dump, it's a bunch of words, it's a bunch of percentages, it's a bunch of numbers, but they can't remember that unless it is embedded in a story. And the story has imagery and it has emotion because it's got this story about a human being. Someone that we can relate to, someone that we can feel something about. You must be memorable. Your presentation must be memorable, otherwise they forget.
Here's what I want you to understand. Your job is to be a wisdom sharer. You now, at this point in your life, have wisdom. You have perspective. Not just content, you have wisdom. That is what I want you to share because wisdom is inspirational. Perspective is inspirational. Shifting hearts, minds, and souls, that's your job in some of your communication. Inspire them, bring wisdom to them, and they will find that very powerful and empowering.
We have brought Doug Stevenson in several times to speak to our leadership development programs on the power of storytelling. He is super engaging. The audience loves him. That's why we keep bringing him back. One person said, this is the best keynote I've ever heard on storytelling. So if you're searching the web for a great keynote speaker or workshop facilitator to talk about story and the influence and impact it can have on your business, choose Doug Stevenson. He's fantastic. You will not be disappointed.
Open with the story, close with the data. Very simple. You walk in and very quickly you're right into a story that engages attention. They ask you questions, you close with the data. I want to tell you a story about my first dog. Do I have any dog people in the room? Yay, dog people! How many cat people in the room? You notice the difference in energy? I say dog people, yes! I say cat people, meow. When I was in Hollywood trying to make it as a movie star, how did I do? Not so well. But I was in Hollywood for 13 years, and after a while it's like, I need a constant companion. I need a buddy, because this is rough, this is hard. And so I finally decided I'm going to get a dog. So I went out and I got a rescue dog, a little black lab. I named her Jaya. She was just so sweet. Black labs are so sweet. I got her when she was about 6 weeks old. She was about this big. Little ball of fat and fur and puppy breath. I do not know why, but I like puppy breath. So I had this dog and I raised her and she went with me everywhere. She was the theater dog. She was at rehearsals, backstage during the play. She was backstage. She went to auditions with me. She was everywhere. She was my best buddy. But when she was about 2 years old, for the first time, she got sick. Now, for those of you who know dogs, there are symptoms that you know your dog is sick. And the first one is they stop eating. It's like, wait a minute, you don't want to have dinner? This is weird. Their nose is a little warm, they're lethargic, they just lay around. You come to see them and their tail doesn't go, their tail goes. So I knew that she was sick. I knew something was wrong. I'd never had to deal with this. I took her to the vet. And the vet said, yes, your dog has a little doggy cold. I want to give you these pills. Give her one of these pills at breakfast and one of these pills at dinner. Gave me a little tutorial on how you give a dog a pill. Sounded pretty simple. Dinner time comes. Jaya, come here. Oh, I know, baby, you don't feel very good. Okay, but you see, I'm going to give you these pills and they're going to make you feel better. And Dr. Joanne told me that what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to, now work with me on this, Jai, I'm supposed to open your mouth and I've got to shove this down to the back of your throat and then I'm going to hold your mouth and you're going to swallow it. Come on, swallow the pill. Good girl. Why are you staring at me? Come on, swallow the pill. She said you would swallow. I can't tell if you're... She said, rub the throat. Rub the throat. Rub the throat. Come on, just... Did you... Okay, well, I guess you... Jaya. Anybody who's ever had to do this with a dog will relate to this. Am I right? They don't swallow the pill. They cough it up. Now you got half digested pill. You get this like yuck. So I went through 3 pills like this. These are expensive pills. I was a struggling actor. I'm going through 3 pills. It's not working. I look up at the clock. Oh, it's after dinner. It's after hours at the vet. Who can I call? My friend John. My friend John always had dogs. John, hi. No, I'm good. Listen, hey, Jaya is sick, and I'm supposed to give her a pill, and I can't. She won't. Peanut butter. You want to borrow some peanut butter? Hide the what? Hide the pill in the peanut butter? How does that work? And stick it, okay. All right, I'll do that. Okay, I'll call you. Hide the pill in the peanut butter. So I got some peanut butter and I scooped some out and I put a little scoop in my hand. I took the pill and I shoved it inside the peanut butter and I went to Jaya. Come here, Jaya, do you want some? Oh, good girl. Good girl, good girl. Yes! Yeah! Well, anyway, she swallowed the pill. What a really cool lesson about giving a dog a pill, right? Is this some of you like peanut butter? Do I have other remedies other than peanut butter? Can I hear them? Cheese. I hear cheese a lot. What else? Meat. Okay, it's like we got the carnivores who go meat. Hot dog, sausage. I had somebody once who said like cookie dough. You could tell where they're coming from. But anyway, you hide the pill in the peanut butter. Well, I didn't think much of this because this was a lesson for giving a dog a pill. What does it have to do with what you and I are here to do? What is the pill? It's the data. It's the left brain science. But if you hide the data inside the story butter, if you hide it inside, if you embed it inside in a sneaky way, they remember it because the data now isn't what you lead with. The story is what you lead with. You follow with the data. So hide the pill in the peanut butter.
So let me see if I've got this right. You walked into a planning meeting for an upcoming sales or leadership conference and someone turned to you and said, I want you to find a keynote speaker who specializes in storytelling in business. So you went back to your desk and started searching the internet for a storytelling expert, which, by the way, is how Google found me. Can you believe it? They did a Google search. Well, now here you are watching my preview video. That's great. Welcome. Just so you know, I've been speaking about and teaching storytelling skills for over 20 years in 18 countries. My keynotes are instructional keynotes. This is going to be not just an inspiring keynote, it's not a motivational keynote, it's an instructional keynote. I'm here to give you tools that you can use. Would that work for you? They provide practical tips and techniques, what I call actionable skills. When I tell a story, and I do tell some wonderful stories, I use them as tutorials. They're teaching tools designed to give people practical storytelling skills that they can use in their business. My job is to help you tell your story, whether that's a personal story, a brand story, or a corporate story. Also, if you book me for your training or keynote, I'll donate $250 to your favorite charity. I'm Doug Stevenson. Nice to meet you.
Emotion is the fast lane to the brain. If you want to get your information into their brain, you've got to short circuit their preoccupation. You've got to engage their attention. You've got to tell them a story, and then you can insert the data so that they can then remember that, because at the end of the day, the doctor wants the science. They need to understand the science, but we won't be able to get the science in there until we get the heart opened up.
I got to speak at the Google campus. They wanted me to work with their engineers and teach their engineers, who are like so left-brained, so analytical, to tell stories about the technology. Then I went out to Amgen, a biotech company. They wanted me to work with their marketing team. So that was a different approach to storytelling, because this was marketing teams, internal communications. Now I had an opportunity to get hired by Coca Cola Latin America. Flew me down to Costa Rica and Colombia to work with their high potential future leaders. They wanted them to be able to motivate and inspire and influence change. And then lastly, I got to work with Microsoft. They flew me down to Miami, where I got to work with their regional sales directors working on stories for sales. Who is your audience? Be strategic.
He gives you that help to really understand how to structure and tell your story.
The greatest accolade, if you will, that I've received, that was the first event that I put together for our senior leadership team, was when our CEO, as soon as Doug finished speaking, sent a text message to my boss, who's the Senior Director of Talent Management and Performance Management, saying that we absolutely nailed it with our speaker.
If you invite Doug to join you and your team, what I can tell you about his style is that he has a poise, a presence, he infuses humor into the day many, many times, and through his stories he actually can help bridge the connection to you personally. That's something that makes it, again, come to life and make it real.
Very theatrical, incredibly intelligent, and really engaging.
Down to earth, very genuine, and very engaging.
Energizing, fun, positive, entertaining. I loved it. It was great.
So at the beginning of this presentation, I asked you to come along with me on a story safari. And it is my hope that along the way you discovered you've got some powerful stories to tell. Stories that only you can tell. They're yours and yours alone. And you must tell them. Because if you don't, the lessons learned from this amazing life that you've lived will be lost. Your stories make you unforgettable. They connect with people at a deep and human level and reveal your brilliance. Yes, your brilliance, that light within you that illuminates everything that you say and do. Never, ever apologize for your brilliance. Your stories are my stories. They're our stories. Find your stories, craft your stories, and tell your stories. Take them out into the light of day. Let people experience them. That's when the magic truly happens.
What's your story?
What's your story?
What's your story?
Thank you. Have a great day.